What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at the Gainz GymPin. So the reason why I bought this, and you may see some people using these with stacks in order to add max weights once they've maxed out the machine. I didn't buy that for this. I bought this for a simple reason. My Temple of Gainz multi-flight and standing wrist curl, the plates are 11-pound increments. With this, I'm able to bridge that gap a little and do 5-pound or 6-pound increments in between the different plates. So the unit itself is about 1 pound or so. That's what I read online. I didn't get a chance to really weigh it, but I would say it's about 1 pound. So when I add a 5-pound plate to it, we're looking at a 6-pound jump. So instead of having to go from 55 pounds to 66 pounds, it's gonna go up to 61 pounds. I can use micro plates. I have some 2.5-pound plates. I don't have any of the Gainz plates. I'm just using regular, 2-inch Olympic plates. So I have some 1 1/4 plates, some 2.5s, 5s, 10s, obviously. This can support a 45-pound plate, but again, I don't plan on using it that way. Now, taking it out of the box, it's a pretty nice unit, nice machined metal, made in the USA. When I put this in my machine for the first time, the first thing I noticed, and again, this is with the multi-flight and the wrist curl, their plates are not drilled all the way through. There's no hole in the back. So when I put this in, and I'll put a video up now, there's a gap, okay? It doesn't seem to impact the function of the unit. I could, if I really wanted to, maybe cut this, but I'm not planning on doing that because of the amount of weight that I'm gonna have loaded on it. The workaround that I'm using right now, and you'll see right here, is I'm putting a red magnetic collar right on the end of this. And what that's doing actually, which I think is better, is holding it in the machine. And then when I put the plate on it, it's also holding it on there. So let's hop over to the machine and I'll show you what I mean. So over at the machine, you can put it in. Like I showed you, there is a gap here. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the collar, like I had mentioned, put it all the way to the end. You see it snaps in with the magnet. So that's holding it there. I don't think the wiggle would change at all because that just has to do with the tolerance. There's different size actual pins that you can order based off the hole. I did get the right size. So then once I put a plate on there, you see, holds it in. Ever so slightly, just enough the magnet holds it. So now we have that incremental weight increase. Now, it bothers me, and this isn't Temple of Gainz fault or anything. With this tethered, obviously, when you're using it, it's gonna bounce up and down on the stack. So what I figured out is that if you bring this all the way up to the top of the machine, there's a slot where you can put it in, and I'll show you that now. And then all the way at the top of the machine, there's an adjustment spot for the cable actually. And you can just fit that in there. Now it's up out of the way. When we use the GymPin, we don't have to worry about it rattling. So now that I have it in the machine, I have a 5-pound plate on there. The actual unit itself is about 1 pound, so we're looking at about a 6-pound change. This machine adjusts in 11-pound increments. So this is gonna give us a little bit of a middle of the road weight increase, and that's what I was looking for here. I had it in the 55-pound slot. Then we have another 5 pounds at 60. And then the 1 pound for the pin. So it'd be like a 61-pound lateral raise. So what are my final thoughts about the Gainz GymPin? I think it's worth buying. I know that there's that little hiccup, I guess, as far as the gap, but that's easily worked around for me at least. Again, either I can cut it to fit for my Temple of Gainz stuff, or I could just use that magnetic collar, which honestly is what I plan to do. I don't max out either of these machines yet to the point where I'd be doing any massive 45-pound plates on them. The wrist curl doesn't have enough room, I think, even with the pin in, for a 45-pound plate to be added, so that doesn't make any sense. That has a 99-pound pound weight stack, which is pretty crazy for wrist curls. The multi-flight, again, I don't plan on using 45-pound plates on there. The weight stack is more than enough for me, especially for lateral raises, things like that. Even for the chest flies, it's enough. So this really is serving its purpose to me for adding those incremental in-between weights with the multi-flight. Again, you know, there's a couple different versions. They make one that has a longer peg, so you can add more weights, not really relevant to my use. And there's also an 8mm or 10mm difference. They have that in inches on their website, but I just remember it was an 8 or a 10mm. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Give me your thoughts about that gap, you know, so I could try to figure it out. Again, I don't plan on cutting this. I'm just going to use the magnetic collar, which seems to actually work better. I wish the company would actually incorporate some sort of magnetic ability to the back of this, or maybe in the rod or something to hold this to the machine. That makes much more sense to me. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.